First strike. The HSS Valkyrie drifted silently through the void, its massive obsidian hull absorbing starlight like a predator hiding in deep waters. Captain Alina Reyes stood at the command center, her weathered face illuminated by the soft amber glow of tactical displays. 20 years in Earth's United Space Force had hardened her into the kind of leader humanity desperately needed now, one willing to make impossible decisions with unflinching resolve. "Status report," she demanded, her voice carrying the calm authority that had earned her command of humanity's most advanced warship. Commander Takashi looked up from his station. "All systems nominal, Captain. Stealth systems functioning at maximum efficiency. The Draveri patrols haven't detected us yet." Reyes nodded, her eyes fixed on the main viewscreen displaying the sprawling Draveri fleet stationed around Proxima Centauri, Earth's nearest stellar neighbor, and until 3 months ago, home to humanity's largest off-world colony. Now it served as a forward base for the Draveri hegemony, the most aggressive of the 3 major galactic powers. 67 ships, murmured Lieutenant Santos, the tactical officer, including 3 dreadnoughts. They're not even trying to hide their buildup. Science Officer Dr. Malik pushed back from his console, running a hand through his silver-streaked hair. "Captain, long-range scans confirm what we feared. The atmospheric processors on Novaterra have been converted to synthesize Draveri bioweapons. If they deploy those against Earth..." He didn't need to finish the thought. Everyone on the bridge knew what was at stake. The Draveri had already demonstrated their bioweapons on the colony world of Demeter, reducing 6 million human colonists to dust in less than a week. Humanity had entered the galactic stage barely 30 years ago, stumbling into a complex political ecosystem dominated by 3 ancient powers: the militant Draveri hegemony, the technologically advanced Zith Collective, and the enigmatic Arcturian Alliance. For 2 decades, Earth had aligned itself with the seemingly benevolent Arcturians, believing their promises of protection. That protection had proven hollow when the Draveri launched their surprise attack. "Captain," called Communications Officer Chen, her voice tight with urgency, "I'm detecting a quantum transmission from Arcturian space. It's directed at the Draveri command ship." Reyes felt her blood run cold. "Can you decrypt it?" "Working on it now," Chen replied, fingers dancing across her console. Oh God." Her face paled as the message translated on her screen. "Captain, it's a tactical update from Arcturian High Command to the Draveri. Star charts, defense codes, Earth fleet positions. They're giving them everything." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Their supposed allies had betrayed them, likely from the very beginning. "It seems we've been caught in a proxy war," Reyes said quietly. "The Arcturians using us as pawns against the Draveri, feeding us just enough technology to make us a threat worth eliminating. And now they're cutting their losses," Takashi added grimly. Reyes turned to the tactical station. "How long until the bioweapon is ready for deployment?" "Based on energy signatures, less than 72 hours, Santos replied. Reyes studied the tactical display, her mind racing through possibilities, each more desperate than the last. The Valkyrie was humanity's most advanced warship, but it was just one vessel against an armada. Even with its revolutionary technology, a direct assault would be suicide. "What about the phase shift drive?" she asked, turning to Chief Engineer Okafor. The engineer frowned. "It's still experimental, Captain. We've only tested it in controlled conditions, using it in combat. Is it functional or not, Chief?" Okafor straightened. "Yes, Captain. Theoretical models suggest it could work, but the power requirements would leave us vulnerable afterward." Reyes nodded. "Then we have our strategy. We strike first, hit them where it hurts most, and change the rules of engagement." She addressed the bridge crew, her voice steady despite the weight of what she was proposing. "Humanity stands alone now. We've been betrayed by those we trusted and targeted for extinction by those who fear us. But they've made a critical error. They think they understand us. They think we'll play by their rules of war. She gestured to the display showing the Draveri bioweapon facility. They expect us to retreat, to consolidate our forces around Earth in a conventional defense. They don't understand that humans, when cornered, don't behave like rational strategists. We become something far more dangerous. For the next hours, the Valkyrie maintained its position, seemingly passive as it observed the Draveri fleet. But inside the ship hummed with activity. Engineers modified systems, tactical officers ran simulation after simulation, and Rice consolidated a bold, desperate plan. "Captain," Santos called out, "I've identified vulnerabilities in their command structure. The Draveri operate on a strict hierarchical network. If we can disrupt their flagship's quantum communications, the rest of the fleet will fall into temporary disarray." Dr. Malik added, "And I've analyzed their bioweapon facility. There's a critical reaction chamber at these coordinates. A precision strike there would trigger a cascading failure." Reyes nodded, the elements of her plan falling into place. Their centralized command is their weakness. They expect us to act predictably, to follow conventional military doctrine. They don't know humans yet. Commander Takashi raised an eyebrow. "You're not planning a direct assault." "Humanity doesn't play by rules written by those who would exterminate us," Reyes replied, a dangerous edge in her voice. She turned to address the entire bridge. "The Draveri and their Arcturian puppeteers have made a critical mistake. They've underestimated us because we're newcomers to their game. They destroyed Novaterra to send a message. Now we'll send one of our own." As the final preparations were made, Reyes ordered the deployment of the Valkyrie's complement of autonomous combat drones, technology that Earth had secretly developed without Arcturian knowledge. "Program the drones with targeting parameters Delta 9, she ordered, "and prepare the phase shift drive for tactical insertion." The phase shift drive was humanity's greatest technological achievement, a propulsion system that briefly shifted a vessel partially out of normal spacetime, allowing it to skip across vast distances. It had never been tested in combat. "All systems ready, Captain," reported Chief Engineer Okafor. "But I must warn you again, using the phase shift drive this close to a gravity well is unprecedented. The calculations are the best we can do with the time we have." Rice finished. "Sometimes humanity's greatest advances come from our willingness to take risks that more established civilizations would consider irrational." Takashi moved to stand beside her. "Orders, Captain." Rice studied the Draveri fleet one last time. The Valkyrie was humanity's most advanced vessel, but facing an empire that spanned hundreds of star systems, how would they measure up? "They expect us to retreat or surrender," she said quietly. "They've shown their hand too early. A truly superior force wouldn't need to mass such firepower for a single planet unless they feared what that planet might be capable of." "What are you thinking, Captain?" Dr. Malik asked. Rey's lips curved into a determined smile. "I'm thinking it's time to show them why humans don't respond well to threats." The bridge crew took their positions as Reyes gave the command that would change the course of the war and humanity's place in the galaxy. "Initiate phase shift. Take us right into the heart of their fleet." The reckoning. The HSS Valkyrie vanished from normal space in a blur of distorted reality, its experimental phase shift drive tearing a temporary hole in the fabric of spacetime. When it reappeared seconds later, it was in the midst of the Draveri fleet, directly alongside their massive command vessel. The Draveri, with all their advanced technology and military doctrine developed over millennia, had never conceived of a species bold enough, or desperate enough, to materialize a warship inside their defensive formation. Their response was delayed by precious seconds of confusion and disbelief. Captain Rice wasted none of those seconds. "All weapons, target their command node," she ordered, her voice steady despite the massive gravitational forces still rippling through the Valkyrie's hull from the phase shift. "Launch drones. Execute targeting pattern Epsilon." The Valkyrie's rail guns accelerated projectiles to a significant fraction of light speed, while its energy weapons targeted the now exposed vulnerabilities in the Draveri command ship. Simultaneously, Dozens of autonomous combat drones streaked from hidden launch tubes, each programmed with specific targets vital to the Draveri command structure. On the main view screen, Rise watched as the massive Draveri flagship shields flared and failed under the precision barrage. With their centralized command structure compromised, the rest of the fleet fell into momentary confusion, ships turning to engage the Valkyrie, but finding themselves firing at empty space as the human vessel executed another microshift, appearing at a different vector. "Their formation is breaking, Captain," Santos reported, unable to keep the amazement from his voice. "They didn't expect us to move like this. The drones are successfully disrupting their quantum communications," added Dr. Malik. "They can't coordinate their response." For 20 crucial minutes, the battle continued in this manner, the Valkyrie appearing, striking with devastating precision, and vanishing before the Draveri could mount an effective counterattack. It wasn't about destroying the alien fleet, it was about sending a message. "Phase shift drive reaching critical temperature," warned Chief Engineer Okafor. "One more jump, maybe two before we risk a core breach." Reyes nodded. "Target the bioweapon facility. All remaining weapons, maximum yield." With its final phase shift, the Valkyrie appeared directly above the atmospheric processors on Novaterra's surface. The ship's remaining weapons unleashed their full power, piercing deep into the facility where the bioweapon was being synthesized. The resulting chain reaction lit up the night side of the planet, with a blue-white flash visible from space. "Facility destroyed," confirmed Santos. "No signs of bioweapon dispersal. Clean hit, Captain. Get us out of here," Rise ordered. "Conventional drives, maximum thrust. Deploy remaining drones in defensive pattern." As the Valkyrie streaked away from the planet, the bridge crew's initial elation faded into a more somber mood. They had succeeded in their immediate mission, destroying the bioweapon facility and demonstrating humanity's unexpected capabilities. But the Valkyrie had taken significant damage, and they were still deep in enemy territory, with a damaged phase shift drive. Then something unexpected happened. "Captain," Chen called from communications, "I'm detecting transmission signals throughout the Draveri fleet, but they're not directed at us. Multiple channels, all aimed toward Zith space." Dr. Malik's eyes widened as he analyzed the data. "They're distress calls. The Draveri are signaling for reinforcements, but they're doing it openly, breaking all encryption protocols. It's almost as if they want the Zith to intercept their communications." Rise finished, a new understanding dawning. "Tactical. Show me the positioning of all known Zith vessels near this sector." The tactical display shifted, revealing something unexpected. A substantial Zith fleet positioned just beyond the heliopause of the Proxima Centauri system, observing but not engaging. "They were watching," Takashi murmured. "The Zith were monitoring this whole encounter." "Not just monitoring," Ray said, her strategic mind piecing together the larger picture. "They were waiting to see what would happen. The Draveri and Arcturians have been allies against the Zith for centuries. This bioweapon facility wasn't just about Earth. It was a test case for weapons they intended to use in the larger galactic conflict." As if confirming her theory, new signals appeared on the long-range sensors. Massive vessels were emerging from light speed, Zith warships responding to the unencrypted Draveri distress calls. "The Zith are moving in," Santos reported. "They're engaging the Draveri fleet." For the next hour, the bridge crew of the Valkyrie watched in stunned silence as the two ancient enemies engaged in a massive battle, with the human ship temporarily forgotten. The Zith, technologically superior but traditionally less aggressive than the Draveri, pressed their advantage against the disorganized hegemony forces. "Captain," Chen called out, "we're receiving a directed transmission from the Zith command vessel. They're requesting communication." Reyes exchanged glances with her officers. This was unprecedented. The Zith had shown no interest in diplomatic relations with Earth since humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. "Open a channel," she ordered. The view screen shifted to show a Zith commander, a tall, slender being with translucent skin that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. When it spoke, its harmonics were translated through the ship's systems. "Captain of the human vessel," the Zith said, its voice melodious despite the translation. "I am primary coordinator Talon of the Zith Collective. Your actions today have altered our assessment of your species." Reyes stood tall. "I am Captain Alina Reyes of the human spaceship Valkyrie. We acted in defense of our homeworld against an imminent threat." "Indeed," the Zith acknowledged. "But your methods were unexpected. For centuries, the Draveri and Arcturians have maintained their dominance through the manipulation of younger species, setting them against each other or exploiting them as proxies. Your direct action disrupts a pattern we have observed for millennia." "Humans don't take kindly to being manipulated," Reyes replied simply. The Zith's skin pulsed with what might have been amusement. "So we have observed. The collective has long maintained a policy of non-interference with emerging species, but circumstances have changed. The bioweapon the Draveri were developing here threatens all carbon-based life in this quadrant, not merely humanity." "You knew about it?" Reyes asked, her voice hardening. "We suspected," the Zith corrected. "Your confirmation and subsequent action provided the evidence we required to intervene directly. The balance of power in this region of space is shifting, Captain Reyes. The collective proposes a mutual exchange of information and technology." Reyes considered the offer carefully. The Zith were offering an alliance, or at least a non-aggression pact, that could protect Earth while humanity rebuilt its forces. But trusting any alien power after the Arcturian betrayal would be difficult. "What guarantees do we have that the collective won't simply use us as the Arcturians did?" she asked bluntly. The Zith's patterns shifted to a deeper blue. "A reasonable concern. We offer this: access to our historical archives documenting the Draveri-Arcturian alliance and their systematic exploitation of developing species. Additionally, we will provide defensive technology to your homeworld while expecting nothing in return but continued dialogue." It was a generous offer, perhaps too generous. "And what do you gain from this exchange?" Reyes pressed. "Perspective," the Zith replied simply. "Your species approaches problems differently than any we have encountered in our 50,000 years of space travel. The phase-shifting technology you demonstrated today was innovative in ways we had not considered. The collective values innovation." After further negotiation, Reyes cautiously accepted the Zith's initial offer of information exchange, pending approval from Earth's United Space Command. As the Valkyrie limped home, its phase shift drive damaged but repairable, the crew contemplated the implications of their actions. "Do you think they'll come for Earth next?" Takashi asked quietly as they entered Sol system 3 days later. Reyes watched Earth grow larger on the view screen, the blue-green planet that had spawned humanity's tenacious spirit. "They might," she acknowledged. "But they'll come with respect now, not arrogance, and they'll find humanity ready." What none of them fully realized as they returned home was that the battle at Proxima Centauri had been observed by more than just the Zith. Throughout the galaxy, species that had suffered under Draveri and Arcturian dominion for generations watched the recordings with growing interest. A single human warship had challenged the established order and survived. More than survived, had changed the balance of power through sheer audacity. In the diplomatic chambers of a dozen worlds, representatives whispered a new word: human. And for the first time in centuries, they dared to hope. 3 months after the Proxima Centauri incident, the HSS Valkyrie patrolled the outer reaches of the Sol system, its phase shift drive fully repaired and enhanced with cautious integration of Zith technological insights. Earth's governments had responded to the new galactic reality with a massive shipbuilding program, creating a fleet of vessels based on the Valkyrie design. Captain Reyes stood in her ready room, studying reports from the new listening posts established throughout nearby systems. The Draveri had withdrawn to consolidate their forces, while the Arcturians had gone suspiciously silent. The Zith continued to honor their agreement, sharing information, but maintaining a respectful distance. Captain, Commander Takashi's voice came through the intercom. Long-range sensors are detecting multiple vessels approaching from different vectors. They don't match Travari, Arcturian, or Zith configurations. On my way, Rise replied, striding quickly to the bridge. The main view screen showed a dozen small vessels approaching, each with a unique design reflecting different technological philosophies and cultural aesthetics. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Chen reported. They're requesting diplomatic contact with the humans who defied the hegemony. Reyes exchanged glances with her senior officers as understanding dawned. These weren't invaders. They were representatives of the galaxy's minor powers and subjugated species, drawn to humanity's unexpected stand against their oppressors. Open a channel, she ordered, straightening her uniform. As the screen flickered to life, showing a diverse collection of alien beings, Rise realized that humanity's desperate gamble had done more than save Earth. It had sparked something that had been missing in the galaxy for too long. Hope. This is Captain Alina Reyes of Earth, she began, and I believe we have much to discuss about the future.